Hi and welcome to another narration presented by yours truly, Cryptids Roost. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time we upload new videos. I would like to reach out and say a huge thank you to those of you who have supported Cryptids Roost financially. We pray the good Lord replenishes you abundantly, and to those of you who will later on. We pray the Lord bless you as you do so. And also a huge thank you to everyone for always supporting the channel with your likes, comments and shares as well. It is all very much appreciated. God bless you all. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not. Dying to live. Part 3. This awesome mini-series is written by getyaisha. If you would like to read more of their works, the Reddit link to their profile will be below in the description. Hey guys, I'm back, and oh, do I have a good one for you today. If you're not familiar with me or my situation, go back and check out the first 2 posts. But to sum it up, my car broke down and I met a mechanic named Teddy, who offered to help me out if I could help him evict a deadbeat tenant. One thing led to another and things went bad. After that, he offered me some cash to watch a package that turned out to be a surrogate mother, and things got worse. Long story short, Sian, the surrogate, had a boyfriend, Adam, who shot and killed me. Then I was kidnapped and murdered for the second time in 24 hours by the Russo brothers, whom I may or may not have ripped off and subsequently caused the death of their mother. That, boys and girls, brings us to where we are today, which is trying to find Sian and haul her ass in so we can collect and split a $250,000. Teddy and I arrived in Floral City a little after 3 AM. Pulling off the road, we stopped for a rest in the parking lot of Bottoms Up Saloon. I stepped out to stretch and get a look around. There wasn't much to see aside from the highway and the bar. Turning to see what Teddy was up to, I caught a glimpse of something moving in the woods to my left. I paused, standing as still as I could, but whatever it was, didn't move again. What the hell are we doing out here? How'd you know that they came this way? Teddy yawned and got out. A pal of mine runs the storage place behind this bar. I got a call from him around the time you were screwing around with your butt buddies in the swamp. He told me that the 2 of them stopped here for food and met up with somebody. A tall sexy number with a lot of tattoos. She was driving one of those street racing cars. That puts them a few hours ahead of us. But with Sian being pregnant, they're going to have to come off the road sooner or later. I figured the girl they met up with must have taken them somewhere close to rest. He paused and narrowed his eyes, focusing on my face. What happened to your eye? Not having a clue to what he was talking about, I stooped a little to get a look at myself in the side view mirror. My jaw dropped. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My right eye had gone completely black. Out of reflex, I shut it and rubbed my eye against the back of my hand, but I couldn't feel the skin around it. Holy shit! Holy shit! What is this? I can still see, but I can't feel my eye. What's happening to me? Teddy shrugged his shoulders and shook his head. How would I know? Looks pretty badass if you ask me. That and the streak of white hair you got growing there makes you look like a supervillain. You should call yourself the Gravedigger or some shit like that. Oh, that reminds me. I've been meaning to ask, what's the other side like? Do you see God or the devil? Is there anything there or what? Come on man, don't leave me hanging. And what about that? If someone hangs you, you would die and come back, then die again over and over till you get down. I think that would be pretty messed up. A part of me wanted to laugh, but more movement from the tree line caught my attention. That's when I saw exactly what, or rather who, was watching us. There at the edge of the tree line was an older looking woman. Other than the fact it was 3 in the morning, she seemed normal enough. I waved and Teddy turned to get a look for himself. "Who exactly are you waving at right now?" Confused by his question, I pointed at the woman and said, "Her." He glanced back to where I was pointing, then back to me with a concerned look. "Her who? There's no one there. Are you sure you're okay? I think that hole in your head might have scrambled your egg a little. You're acting a kind of weird right now." I looked at the woman who was now walking towards us, then back at Teddy. "So you're telling me you don't see the..." My words caught in my throat as I brought my attention back to where she'd been. "Where'd she go? I swear I'm not making this up. She was right there." Shaking his head, Teddy pulled out his phone and made a call. A few minutes later, a younger looking guy came walking from the storage facility behind the bar. He spoke with Teddy for a moment, then handed him a piece of paper and strolled back the way he'd come. I waited for a while, thinking he would explain, but instead he got in the van and started the engine before yelling out, "Are you coming or what? We don't have all night." I got in and we headed out. The moment we were back on the road, I had to know, what was all that about? Pulling out another joint, he pretended to not know what I was talking about for a second, laughing to himself. "I'm just messing with you. That was Cal. He's the one that told me Cian had been here." He took down the plate number and tracked it to a local address. With any luck, we'll catch them there. As exciting as the idea of all that cash was, I couldn't stop worrying about what was happening to me. I glanced out to the window as we sped along the highway. Every few miles I could see a random person standing on the side of the road staring directly at me. I asked Teddy if he'd seen them the first few times, but his responses were always no. Then I saw a face I never thought I'd see again. Marissa. "Pull this heap over!" I demanded, startling Teddy with my sudden outburst. The second we were stopped, I flung the door open and I got out, rushing back to where I'd seen the girl standing. I was shocked to see she was still there. She smiled and waved as I approached, then vanished when I was within reach. "No! Come back! I need your help! You have to tell me how to get rid of this!" I yelled and ranted, kicking up dust while Teddy stood by the van watching me. "Hey, Martin, if you're done having a moment, can we please get the fuck out of here? I would like to wrap this thing up before you go all 6 cents on me and start saying you see dead people." I turned to face him and caught a glimpse of an old man on the other side of the road staring at us. Trying to ignore him, I took a deep breath and started towards the van. "Yeah, let's get moving." An hour later we were pulling up at the address. The car we were looking for was in the driveway. I'm not a car guy, but Teddy was impressed. "Would you look at that? Now I have to meet this chick. Anyone who would drive that car should be my future ex-wife." He stopped and looked at me. "Do me a favour, take the knife out of the glove box and go slash the tyres on that thing so they can't get away. When they come out to leave, we'll jump them and take Cian back where she belongs." Grabbing the blade, I slipped out of the van and ran to the driveway. As I sliced into the first tyre, it dawned on me that we might not be the good guys in all of this. Technically, we were planning on kidnapping a pregnant woman and holding her against her will till she could be picked up. Moving to the next tyre, I quickly slashed through it and glanced back to Teddy. He'd gotten out and was doing something near the rear of the van, just out of my sight. I ran over to find him with the rear cargo doors open. He'd put on a bulletproof vest and was loading a pistol as I walked up. "What the fuck? Why are you dressed like that? I thought we were waiting for them to come out." He shook his head and passed me his phone. "Check the message from Titus. They're arriving at the condo in the next hour. We don't have time. Besides, unlike you, I can die, and I would prefer that didn't happen. The good news is, when they see you, they'll probably shit a brick thinking you're a ghost or something. You go to the door and knock while I sneak around back." He paused for a second and pointed to the duffel bag stuffed with guns and body armour as he picked up a tactical mask and slipped it on. Are you sure you don't want to grab a gun or something? Getting killed can't be fun. You should really start protecting yourself. Looking at the weapon, I picked out a Beretta, checked the magazine, then slipped it in the front of my waistband. Teddy stopped and shook his head. What the hell are you doing? Unless you're trying to part with your pecker, I'd suggest you put that in the small of your back, under your shirt. Jesus, kid, you're going to have to smarten up. Let's go, time is ticking. As I walked up to the door, Teddy slipped around back. I couldn't shake the feeling we were being watched. Taking a deep breath, I closed my eyes, then knocked hard, making sure I got their attention. I could hear voices on the other side of the door as lights came on inside. After a second or two, a woman's voice called out, "Who is it?" followed by the sound of someone racking around into the chamber of a shotgun. Stepping away from the door, I responded, "It's Martin. Tell Cian I'm here to take her back. This doesn't have to be hard. Just come on out so we can get this over with." I could hear them arguing inside. Then the door flew open and out stepped one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen. She pointed the shotgun at me and called to Cian, who was standing a few feet away. "Is this the guy you told me about? You said Adam killed him. What the hell is he doing here?" Cian peeped around the corner and went wide-eyed when she saw me. "Holy shit! How are you alive? We saw you die. This can't be real." Before I could come up with a snappy response, Teddy came crashing through the patio door, waving his gun around. The woman with the shotgun yelled, "Get down!" Cian dropped to the floor as she spun and fired, but missed Teddy as he dove behind a couch. I pulled my pistol and pressed it to the back of her head. "Drop it and step in." Doing as I ordered, she let the gun go and I put her hands up. As we stepped inside, Adam popped out from one of the rooms and, well, Teddy shot him in the face. Cian screamed and charged him, but he quickly got it under control before forcing her to sit down on the floor. I was lost in the moment. I stood there still aiming my gun at a gorgeous creature who was giving me a death stare, while Teddy zip-tied Cian's hands behind her back. She cried out, "Paula, I'm so sorry about all of this. Please don't kill her, Martin. She isn't involved. Just let her go." I glanced over at Teddy, who shrugged his shoulders and helped Cian up from the floor, as he looked at Paula, then at me, and chuckled. "It's your call, cowboy. If you leave her, she'll call the cops. Unless you shoot her, in that case it's just another body. We could wrap them both up and take them to the hole. Or you could bring her along, but she's your responsibility if you do." The last thing I wanted to do was kill this woman for no reason. I chose to bring her along, thinking once I had my money I could leave her somewhere far away from whatever the hell of all this was. In my mind it was the best option. I zip-tied her hands behind her back while admiring her tattoos. From the neck to her knuckles she was inked up. Somehow it made it more attractive than she already was. It was hard not to focus on her curves as we put her and Cian in the van along with Adam's body and drove away. The moment we were back on the road, Teddy lit up, then called whoever Titus was. When he got off the phone, he passed the joint to me and smiled. "Good news, bad news. The good news is the money is all at the condo waiting for us. The bad news is they're knocking 50,000 off for making them wait. It's not all bad though. The big man wants to meet you. He knows you might come out of this with a lot more than some smart pocket cash." While the idea of meeting Titus didn't appeal to me, something dawned on me while we were talking. When Teddy first mentioned the person who was supposed to come get Cian, he said it was a woman. Now suddenly it was this Titus guy, and I had the feeling he was bad news. "So, who is this guy, and what happened to the lady that was supposed to handle all of this?" Teddy laughed and shook his head. "Trust me, you don't want the answers to either one of those questions. I'll tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. Just take the money and shut the fuck up. It's not worth it. Paula interrupted our conversation. What gives you two apes the right to force Sian to hand over her baby? If she wants to keep the kid, it should be her choice. This is so fucked. I hope you two burn for this. Turning around in my seat, I looked at Sian, who put her head down. Then I turned my attention to Paula. Oh, so you don't know what's going on? I smirked and looked back to Sian. She quickly shot me a hateful look, then blurted out, Don't listen to him. He's... I cut her off, laughing at her. Ha! That's so sad. She's conning you. Let that sink in for a second. Here's the truth. She was extorting the donor family by using the baby as leverage for more money. Her and her asshole boyfriend shot me because I wouldn't help. Teddy over here was on the chopping block because of these two, and now you're in the mix. If she would have pulled this off, all of you would have probably been dead. You should be happy that we messed this up. Paula looked at Sian, then closed her eyes and leaned back against the wall of the van. Please tell me that's not true. Tell me you didn't get me mixed up in your bullshit again. Sian sat staring at Adam's lifeless body with tears streaming down her face. You have to believe me. I didn't think any of this would happen. No one was supposed to get hurt. Cutting her short, Teddy scoffed. Oh, stop it. We don't believe you. Everyone in this van knows you're a conniving, scheming little dirtbag who only cares about herself. Those people were willing to pay you good money so they could have a family, and you wanted more. You didn't care then, and you damn sure don't care now. So stop crying and shut up. You won't even get any pity from anyone here. We made it to the condo just after sunrise. The handoff was quick and easy. Two women escorted Sian to one of two SUVs and drove away. I was hoping I could go without meeting Titus, but my luck being what it is, I wound up face to face with him. Okay, face to face might be a bit of an exaggeration. It was more like face to chest. This guy was huge. I was literally looking up at him the entire time. If I had to describe him in one word, it would be intimidating. He looked like a cross between the Incredible Hulk and Santa Claus. Only he was wearing what I could only assume was a very expensive tailored suit. He huffed and looked me over for a second. Then, I shit you not, he sniffed me and growled. The fucking guy growled. It was the scariest thing I'd ever experienced in my life, and I've been murdered. I stepped back, not knowing what to expect, and he smirked, which didn't help at all. Then he finally spoke.
What are you?
You know what they say? Sometimes the simplest questions are the hardest ones to answer. Well, that's a true statement. I was absolutely stumped by it. I had no idea what to say. Human, I guess. I don't know what you're asking me right now. What do you mean, what am I? What are you? He growled again and glanced over at Teddy.
Keep an eye on this one. He may be useful.
With that, he turned and walked to the SUV. Teddy, who was standing a few feet away counting the money, responded by waving a handful of bills at him and saying, "Can do, boss. See you next time." Once Titus was gone, Teddy walked over and handed me my cut, then motioned to the van. "So what are you going to do about her?" In all the weirdness, I'd completely forgotten about Paula. "Shit, okay, I'll take her inside and you go get rid of the body. Since I've got my money, there's no reason for me to stick around. I'll take her with me and dump her a few states away. That should buy you some time to get out of here, but I need a ride." He looked at the van, then at the money in his hand and smiled to himself. "I tell you what, I still owe you a car, since I wasn't able to get yours fixed. You can take my van when I get back. We'll call it an even trade." We shook hands over the deal, then I went to get Paula out of the van. As soon as I opened the doors, she gave me a kick to the face and bolted out. I actually watched her run for a second, just admiring her frame before I took off to catch her. To my surprise, as soon as I started running, my body went numb, and suddenly I was moving faster than I thought I could. I was on her in an instant. and hadn't even broken a sweat. Hell, my heart wasn't even racing. The moment I had my hands on her, everything went back to normal, which was unfortunate because she proceeded to punch me in the face, then kick me in the balls. Luckily, I was a good enough distraction to give Teddy enough time to catch up and point his gun at her to get the situation under control. Once we were inside and she was zip-tied to a chair, Teddy took off to get rid of Adam. The moment the door slammed shut, Paula started talking. "Look, I don't know you guys. If it wasn't for Cian, I wouldn't even be here. Just let me go and I swear I won't say a word." I looked at her and sighed before taking a seat on the couch. "Here's the deal. I don't believe you, but I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to take you with me to buy some time. When we are far enough away, I'm going to give you some cash and cut you loose. After that, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. I just want to get away from you people. I've got my own problems. I don't need yours." Paula looked at the stack of cash on the table, then glanced around the room and nodded her head. "How much cash are we talking here? For 5,000, I'll take you wherever you want to go and guarantee you get there fast." I turned the offer down. We agreed that she would go along and I would give her 2,000 for her troubles. After that, we sat there in silence watching television till Teddy got back. With his typical goofy grin, he stepped through the door carrying a six-pack. Setting the beer down and grabbing one, he tossed me the keys. Cracking open his beer, he motioned for me to step into the kitchen. "I'm not gonna run. The cops won't be coming anytime soon. Not for me anyhow. They will, on the other hand, be coming for the van. I'm going to report it stolen tomorrow and say Adam took it. By then you should have gotten rid of the girl one way or the other and switched rides. Stay off the radar for a while. Folks are going to remember your face. When you get far enough away, give me a call. I know people. I might be able to help you from here. Good luck and stay away from Titus if you can. He's the real deal, as bad as they come. You don't want to get involved with that one. Before you take off though, you never answered my question. What do you see on the other side?" I laughed and shook my head while turning to walk back to the main room. "I'll make you a deal. If we ever see each other again, I'll tell you all about it." He laughed and followed me back to Paula. I gathered up my things, then cut her loose and we left. There wasn't a lot of conversation. We'd been on the road for close to 3 hours and it had been silent the entire time. We were travelling along the 23 between Homeland and Waycross, Georgia, when we were sideswiped off the road by a semi. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this area, but believe me when I tell you, there's nothing but trees and road out there. We wound up in a drainage ditch that runs along the highway. Before that either of us could process what was happening, the driver's side door was snatched open and I was dragged out of the van. 2 large men carried me to an awaiting limo and forced me into the back seat. One of them asked, "What do we do with the girl?" And a nasal toned voice responded, "Leave her. We have what we came for." I turned to see a small framed old man sitting across from me. He smiled a wicked smile and leaned forward, revealing his wrinkled leathery face. "Blessed be the light. If it is given, so shall it be received." Don't forget, if you enjoyed that story, be sure to pop over to the author's Reddit profile and drop them a line, or even give them a glowing review. I'm sure they really would appreciate it. The link to their Reddit profile will be below in the description. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. Oh, and don't forget to share the video far and wide. This will all help with YouTube's algorithm and will help to promote this channel more. And don't forget to check out the merch store. The link will be in the description and also in the video thumbnail. And if you would like an honourable mention, send in a snapshot of yourself with your purchase and I'll feature it in one of the videos. I now have my very own subreddit community where you can submit any stories you've written. You can submit your stories or encounters either there or send them to cryptidsroost@gmail.com. If you wish to remain anonymous, that's fine with me. All the links are below. I also have a Facebook group, Twitter, Reddit, and you'll also find me on Discord. If you would like to support this channel and help make it grow, my PayPal is paypal.me/cryptidsroost. Again, that will also be below. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.